Hello! Today we will go over the process of fermentation while making these fun, savory pumpkin rolls to see this process in action. If you would like to make your own, here are all the ingredients you will need. Yeast is a key ingredient in bread. It causes the bread to rise. This is because the fermentation reaction uses sugar to produce ethanol and carbon dioxide using two enzymes found in yeast, pyruvate decarboxylase and alcohol dehydrogenase. Ethanol is expelled during baking, while carbon dioxide diffuses throughout the dough. An important step when making bread is to let the yeast bloom. In this recipe, we will mix the yeast into warm water and let it sit for around 5 minutes or until foamy. Moving back to fermentation, we can see that fermentation is one of 3 possible pathways for pyruvate, a sugar, to undergo after glycolysis. In a microorganism such as yeast, under anaerobic conditions, which means that there isn't any oxygen, fermentation is the chosen pathway. The goal of fermentation is to regenerate NAD+. The reaction also generates ethanol and carbon dioxide, but why is that important in bread making? Well, as I mentioned earlier, the carbon dioxide diffuses throughout the dough and enlarges small, pre-existing air bubbles that are created by kneading the dough. This is why kneading is an important step in making bread. You may have noticed earlier that sugar was not added into the dough, so why does the bread still rise? Well, flour is made of the carbohydrate starch, which yeast can break down into glucose using 2 enzymes, amylase to break the starch into maltose, and maltase to break the maltose into glucose. We can then convert this into pyruvate as seen in an earlier graphic to follow the fermentation pathway. If you are making the rolls with me, this is when we will make the bread pumpkin-shaped. Using 2 pieces of string, create 8 indentations like I am doing. Though bread is a great example of fermentation in everyday life, it is not the only one. It is also essential for the production of beer, as seen in this graphic. The fermentation of beer actually helped us understand the 10 enzymatic reactions of glycolysis. You will now want to cut out the string and push half a pretzel into the top of each pumpkin. I hope you learned something about fermentation and maybe made some pumpkin bread. Thanks for watching!